I'm in unfamiliar territory. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I hope everyone's enjoying their Sunday evening, and you're going to learn a lot tonight on the petition drive, the Citizens Initiative drive that we're doing here in Alberta. All the questions you ever wanted to ask and more will be answered tonight. Chris?
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. It's Chris here from the Whistle Stop Cafe in Mirror, Alberta. And I didn't tell Kerry I was going to do that. He probably expected me to come and ramble for 2 or 3 minutes and forget there was anyone else that wanted to talk.
Yeah, that's me. Totally me.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is an informational podcast tonight, folks. We've been getting tons of emails and messages and phone calls asking about the petition and independence and treaties and like you name it. And we thought, what a great idea to come on to a podcast where nobody watches and we just talk about these things to our own computer screens.
Look, that sounds amazing. I do want to preface this entire podcast that we are only talking about the petition and the process, as well as how to sign up to be a canvasser. We're going to talk. We're going to bring Greg Hartzler on here, who's the CFO of Stay Free Alberta, and we'll talk about what is Stay Free Alberta and where the name come from, or whatever we need to talk about in order to get past that, so that we can actually get into the meat and potatoes of what people are doing. Why are people lining up to sign a petition?
Are there burgers?
Anyway.
Is there burgers or snacks or something? What is going on?
You got to at least have coffee and hot chocolate.
Yeah.
No. These are just people standing in line to sign the petition, period. They've been anxiously waiting in order to do this.
Wow. Yeah. I've been blown away with the with the size of the lineups. Like that one in Edmonton was absolutely insane. And the best part about that, my favorite part, is that people have to drive by it and see. The same people who have been saying, oh, you're just a small group, blah, blah, blah. They're watching, and some of them may be even like crapping their pants, like my friend Tom, I'm sure.
Yeah. One thing I did want to say that's a little off topic for here is...
We never do that.
We never go there. It's likened to the convoy. And the reason I say that is because when the convoy happened, we saw people come out of their houses and wave flags, and they were excited because they found out that they were not alone. And if anything, this is the same sort of feel. You know, it's no longer the hidden water cooler talk. It is mainstream. We've had events, CTV, CBC, Global, the mainstream have actually been there. So they have to talk about it. And people are talking about it at their water cooler, in the office, at the bar. I was, of course, everybody knows I host karaoke on weekends, and I cannot believe the conversation that's happening at the tables beside me. It's about independence and what's going on with that. So, having said that, nice to hear my voice again. Nice
True.
to laugh.
It's a true story.
Yeah,
a lot of people missed you. People ask about you all the time.
I miss myself too. So, and we'll do another podcast a little bit later, and we'll talk a little bit more about what's been going on in my life and etc. But for now, let's just focus on Stay Free.
Yeah. So, Kerry, should we? I guess we should probably bring Greg on. I kind of forgot he was here, like I usually do. So why don't we bring Greg on, and we'll just get right to it. And folks, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to at least try and focus more on the questions this time, because that's what this is about. It's an information session. So get us your questions. Put the question marks in the beginning so I can scroll through quickly and see them. And we'll do our absolute best to answer all your questions. Last time I did this, Kerry, I was almost 2 hours into it. I lost my voice by the end of it. I did a webinar on this. It was insane. So I think the response is going to be great.
So a lot of people are asking questions, and I think it's great to basically get that information out. Hello, Greg. How are you?
Gents, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Likewise. I thought you'd be more tanned.
That's true. You just
it's just the lights in my office.
Oh, I thought you were like me. Maybe you're so light skinned now that the sun just reflects and doesn't tan you anymore.
Actually, it was the crowded seats on WestJet that wore it all on the way home.
Yep.
I hear
that. So, Greg, we've been getting a ton of questions about Stay Free Alberta, about the petition, about independence, about where's Kerry been, mostly where's Kerry been, but we generally ignore that.
That's true.
And so, as you know, we decided to bring you on, or Kerry actually set this up. He decided to bring you on to talk about a bunch of these things. So do you want to maybe just let folks know who you are, why you're here, and your kind of ideas that you want to talk about while I go through the comment section and pick out questions?
Sure. Glad to. Well, thanks for having me. My name's Greg Hartzler, and I am the CFO for the Citizens Initiative campaign, who is Mitch Sylvester is the proponent. So under the legislation, before it can actually kick into gear, it's legislated that Mitch needs to have a CFO. So Mitch tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I would be prepared to do that for him. I said yes. I've been involved in many campaigns over my life, so I do know the financial facet of campaigns and try to keep up on the legislation as it changes. So that's what got me here, and hopefully we can answer a bunch of questions. I know Kerry's going to give us a little tutorial or whatever he wants to call it. We'll maybe answer some questions right off of the top and get some clarification. So
I have a critical question here, and this one has to be answered before we talk about anything else.
All right,
Kerry, I'm going to let you take it.
Yeah.
If I can find it.
Okay.
Here we go. Sheila asks, if you signed the petition through APP months ago, do you have to sign this one too?
So if you sign the petition for APP, that is actually not the petition. What was done was it was an intent to sign the petition. And really all that was it was online electronically. The biggest thing that people should walk away from this this webinar on is if you're signing the petition, you're actually signing a piece of paper with your contact information and your address. And it's a wet signature, basically meaning that it's in ink. It's actually on paper. So it is not on, you cannot do it electronically. If you're in the States and you need to sign, and you can't come back, we'll get to those sorts of questions. Those are common questions, but everything has to be done on a piece of paper. So we're starting from scratch. If you have not signed a piece of paper since the initiative started on January 2nd, technically the 3rd, but let's say the 2nd, you have not signed the petition. So anything you've done prior to that is not signing the petition, period.
Hey, Chris, can I jump in there a bit?
Of course.
There was an early on question, somebody that mentioned that they might be housebound and unable to get out, and they were wondering about being able to sign.
Yeah.
If people go to stayfreealberta.com, there is a place that they can register their intent, and that will help Stay Free Alberta get canvassers to people like the lady that asked how can they sign if they're housebound.
Exactly.
So there you go, Kerry. Go to stayfreealberta.com.
Yeah.
And you can register, and a canvasser can come to you.
So normally I have control over the inner workings of what's showing up on the screen, but I don't today because I'm a guest. So I'm going to ask Chris, can you show my screen if you don't mind doing that? There you go. See, so this is the website. It is under stayfreealberta.com. Maybe I can actually put the comments. I think I can put the comments on. There you go. Look at that. Stayfreealberta.com. This is, I'm going to say, it is the place that you need to go to find out your questions about the Citizens Initiative and the petition. So we know that there's Facebook groups out there. There's stuff on X, different events, different places to go and sign. This will eventually be the place that you should be going to do it. And the reason I say that right now is because we were so overwhelmed with people wanting to basically get to become a canvasser, to get signatures signed up, that it blew us away. Not that we weren't ready. I'm going to back up just slightly about this. Now you can hide my screen, and then I'll get back to why I wanted to show the screen in a second. But if you remember what ended up happening, and it's good to know a little bit of history. So Mitch proposed the question for the Citizen Initiative. I believe it was it June or July there, Greg? Sometime in there. Of course, it ended up going to court in order to see whether or not the question was valid, et cetera, et cetera. When it did come back and say we could submit the petition again, I believe we did it on December 11th. And we actually didn't think that Elections Alberta would get back to us until middle of January. Why would they get back to us before Christmas? Why would they get back to us and then have to go through a 2-week break of the government in order to actually get stuff in ducks in a row? They came back on the 22nd of December and said, yes, you're able to do this starting Friday, January 2nd. Oh, by the way, our offices are closed that entire 2 weeks. Is really what ended up happening. Now I'm not slamming Elections Alberta. They were doing probably as best as they could, but we really thought that we would have until, we were looking at January 14th or 15th to have everything ready, to have our canvassers already set up, to have our petition sheets at least in the ready that we would know, because again, all that stuff doesn't get released to you until Elections Alberta says, here's your list of documents, here's your petition, here's the signature sheet, here's the cover sheet. We had nothing like that until Elections Alberta gave it to us on the 22nd and said, there you go. Good luck trying to get everything printed and everybody getting ready over the Christmas holidays. So timing was terrible for that. However, we did manage to get most of the stuff set up. And, what we're going through right now is a slight growing pain because we are so overwhelmed. It's amazing and I love it. I'm glued to my computer now, doing a bunch of work, doing a bunch of administration. Greg and I talk all the time, so it's good to see her face as opposed to being on the phone. But that's kind of the way this whole thing has been set up. So we are now in a position that we have. I'm going to just say some numbers. We have about 2,000 canvassers registered through Elections Alberta. A lot of them have received back their badges. I've received back my badge. So I'm an actual canvasser now. And unfortunately, I've just been so busy doing stuff on the back end that I haven't been able to go and actually do any canvassing. But that is something that I'm going to be doing.
Hey, Kerry, I do have the answer why Elections Alberta did that over Christmas.
Okay, sure. Yeah, please do.
They just wanted to mess with my vacation in Florida and screw it up for me.
That is true. They knew. They absolutely knew. So what's ended up happening is this week for sure, we'll have a schedule done up. So now you can go back to the screen there, Chris, and I want to show kind of what's going on. Oh, it is on there. No, it's not. There it is. So if you go under how and where to sign, we were just talking about, Greg was saying that if you're housebound or unable to make it, or at least maybe want to find out a little bit more information, what my suggestion would be is to go to the request to sign page, and that will open up another page where you can enter in your contact information. We'll have it in a database so that when we eventually get out of the event situation where we've got right now, we'll have signing, what was the term that we called it, Greg?
The locations?
Signing locations, that's right. Yeah. And then we'll actually do a door-to-door campaign. So there's those steps in order to get to it. But in order to do this, we had to have enough canvassers. We have to have enough petition sheets. We have to have locations where you can go, right? Because if honestly, as amazing it is to have so many people lining up for so long, and I would totally encourage you. I think God basically said, if this was going to happen, I'm going to have a Chinook over the entire province for 2 weeks so that people can stand outside. If you remember almost any other January, it would be -20, -30 right now. And I don't think we would get the crowd numbers that we did. But, so having said all that, if you go to the request to sign the petition, it will then open up a window. We will have your contact information so that when the time comes, and if you have not signed the petition, we can come to you, or we can at least let you know that, hey, we'll be at a community center on a Saturday near you between 2 and 4. You can come and sign. something to that effect. And so there are things in place. So again, we monitor the info at email address, info@stayfreealberta.com. Chris, you can put that in while you're just, I don't know. But if you send it to info at, we have about 500 emails a day. And I would say 95% of those questions fall into one or two categories. Number one for sure is, when are you coming to my town? And so the idea behind the website is, when you go here, where to sign, it scrolls down to the page. Right now, this is a heavy scrollable list. And I realize that because we have events that are popping up all the time. You scroll right down to the bottom, you can even see the posters that are officially Stay Free Alberta events. But if you scroll up, what will eventually happen is we've got a back end of our database that we're putting in right now. And hopefully it'll come on this week, where you can actually put in your city or your town, put in your date if you want to, or find out what's coming up this week or anything like that. As well as what's on the back burner is, if I'm living in Red Deer and I want to find out if there's an event happening in and around Red Deer, it'll show Bowden and Innispell and Blackfold and all that. So it'll actually show it up. So that is on the back end. Again, a little premature. We actually thought that we would have this in place for the 15th, roughly when we thought Elections Alberta would get back to us and say we could start. And here we are, and we are just going full bore right now. So that's basically where you would go to find out where to sign. These right now fall into two categories. One is an event in which there are speakers there, as well as signing locations. And then we also have just signing locations. Now, in this case, if we're scrolling through here, you will find that maybe we've got a couple of times in there, or maybe it'll actually end up, I'm trying to find one I know that says one here, signing and speaking. So the signing will start at 4 o'clock. We've got a speaker event at 7 o'clock, and this one's in Grand Prairie. Then what time does that end? I don't know, honestly, because it could just go until we run out of sheets. It could go until the hall closes. It could go till whenever it is. So if there's a certain area or a certain place where we know that we have a finite amount of time, we will definitely have that again on our schedule. And again, it's going to be one of these lists where you can actually scroll through and put in your city or your town or the date, and that'll be Bob's your uncle. The other thing we don't have it listed in here, and I'm just going to briefly talk about it because I think that's another conversation we can have a little bit later, is about door knocking. And the idea behind this is, let's say I'm living in Calgary and I'm living in Braeside, for lack of a better location, and I want to find out whether or not you've got canvassers or door-to-door knocking in there. It will then tell me when that location is going to be, people will be able to knock on the door, or that, maybe they've got a community center set up in there. So all that stuff will be on the website. Right now, we're kind of just at the beginning of this. The other thing that I like to say over and over and over again is we have 120 days to do this. Now, obviously, we've eaten 2 weeks of this, but we have had a lot of signatures. Mitch Sylvester actually told me, don't tell people how many we've had, but I will tell you, we've had a lot of signatures. That's all I'm going to say with that. So it's great times, amazing to be involved, even on the back end with this. We don't have social lives anymore. Greg, did you ever have a social life?
Probably not for 20 years. Not for 20 years.
Well, and we basically said, you know what, we're going to put our lives on hold for 120 days in order to get this thing done. And I think it goes until May 2nd. That's questionable too. That's a Saturday. We've had conversations about this. I think we'll actually probably end up getting signatures until around, maybe the 20th of April or 25th of April, something like that. And then they have to be sent up to Elections Alberta. So there is a finite amount of time that we'll be doing this. But I think after this is all said and done and it's back in Elections Alberta's realm, they will be verifying. I believe they have 30 days to verify all the signatures and then come back to us and tell us yay or nay whether or not the Citizens Initiative petition has gone through. And then after that, that is another scope of another conversation and another webinar as to what we can do with that after. So I hope that at least alleviates some of the questions in regards to, where and when to sign, etc. The other questions that we get are, I'm a snowbird and I'm in Arizona, or I'm not going to be back until April, or I'm not going to be back until June. We are working with our canvassers, our army of canvassers, and we know that we're going to have people going down to Mexico, Arizona, etc., with petition sheets. So if you also sign up on the request to sign the petition, we get a hold of you, you can even say that. You can say, thank you for getting back to me. I'm in Puerto Vallarta until the end of May. How can I get involved? What can I do? You will now be in our database. So that's the other benefit of signing up on that page. We want to answer some questions now.
Oh, there's
a lot of information there too.
Many questions.
Okay.
Many questions. Here's a good one. You just covered it. Can a person donate to Stay Free Alberta when they sign? Yes, you can. Remember,
okay.
At the event, but not when they sign.
Correct.
Yeah. So do not give money to a canvasser. The canvas,
right? Yes.
Basically, just there to witness you signing the signature. That's it.
So if somebody approaches you and says, "I'm a canvasser collecting money for Stay Free," you say,
"Greg says no. Greg says no. That's why he's on the podcast."
Yeah, good.
And there should be no canvassers collecting funds at all. There should be nothing even close to canvassers. The only time you will see canvassers close to anything would be if it's a town hall and the table for canvassers are in the back of the building. That would be, and then
the canvassers know that. They know that. So if someone says that they're a canvasser and they're asking for money, they're not a canvasser.
Yeah,
correct.
That's right. And someone I just see, are the donations, how are the donations going? I donate monthly. Technically, you actually do not donate to Stay Free Alberta. And maybe I'll just back up. What is Stay Free Alberta? Now, Greg basically said he is the CFO for the Citizens Initiative for Alberta Independence with the proponent of Mitch Sylvester. That is a terrible marketing name. Absolutely horrible. It would not fit on a coffee cup. So Mitch came up with a couple of ideas, and this one stuck. It was Stay Free Alberta. And that's basically the brand that we're using. The entity, if you want to call it that, it is not a separate business. It is Mitch. But rather than having Mitch on coffee cups or the big long Citizens Initiative for the Independent Alberta, blah, blah, or even Greg's face on a cup.
Do it.
Yeah, we could do that. But that's the reason why Stay Free Alberta is what it is. It's just a brand name, a marketing name in order to get this out. It's the same thing that happened with the other petition too. Thomas had put in his name and he went through the exact same sort of scenario as Mitch's. And so this just makes it a little more logical in order to get to a specific website or social media or getting the word out on what is actually happening in terms of the petition. So that's kind of what I wanted to say.
Okay, and if I can add something a little selfish here,
absolutely.
Please, if you want to give and can give, do it online. It cuts down the amount of work that I have to do in the big picture because everything needs to be reported to Elections Alberta. So people giving online just makes it so much simpler for me. You can give by check. You can mail the check. That mailing address is on the website. I will type it into the chat here in a minute. But you can give a check. And just to remember, everyone, the maximum you can give for the entire campaign is $4,600. You can't give any more. It's tracked, and we would have to decline it if we found that you had given more than the 4,600. So
and that goes a little further, folks. That's total contributions for political stuff in a calendar year, is it not, Greg?
No, it's specific to the campaign.
Okay.
And that's
and the other thing is individuals can give that 4,600 and corporations can give that 4,600 as well.
Okay.
So that's an elections Alberta rule. Now, Greg, did you want to talk a little bit more about the cap or anything like that on here?
Yeah, the campaign cap, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the campaign cap is legislated, and it's just a little bit over $570,000. So that will be our maximum budget that we can operate within and have our town halls. The majority of the money that will be coming in, I would say probably 80% of those funds are all going to be to rent locations to have town halls.
That's right. And so essentially that cap means that we cannot spend realistically $1 over that. So the entire operating budget for getting the word out, for getting canvassers, whatever expenses are actually needed have to fall within that. And I'd like to point out the fact that we've had so many people want to reach out to us about, I want to make a sign, I want to put a billboard up on my house, I want to do T-shirts, I want to do any swag and anything like that. I think, Greg, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that makes it very difficult. In fact, that's torturous because every dollar that you spend going out and creating a poster board or putting up an A-frame sign and you buy that all has to be a campaign expense, and you've got to count it as part of your contribution. Yeah. So what it does is all of those, if it's done across the province, I did a calculation on just an A-frame sign for every location, or 2 for every region that we got in the province, and it was going to impact the budget by $20,000. Yeah. So that's $20,000 less that we have to spend on going and getting an event location and getting lots and lots of people inside the door.
So what if it's not a stay free advertisement? What if it's just a big blue, like what I have, Alberta Independence?
Has nothing to do with the campaign in that regard.
That's so right. People can wear their opinion on their yard or on their sleeve. It just can't be the stay free brand campaign stuff.
Yeah. Correct. And basically this is more for canvassers than anything. Canvassers can't just go willy-nilly and spend a whole bunch of extravagant things to do canvassing.
And we do have a small budget for some advertising. We have some signs. We've got some lawn signs that are coming in. But again, a very limited budget of that.
Yeah, there will be lawn signs available for the canvassers to use to set up their locations. And we are going to do a test run of having some lawn signs available at the event at Stampede Park on the 26th. So
right. We'll talk a little bit about that. So you were saying about a lot of the cost is halls and that sort of setup for events. Would it be advisable to have some free events? Like, could we do something out in a park like they've done in Edmonton? Like, I would recommend that, right?
Yeah, that's what we want to do mostly. In fact, is we want people to get creative and have locations that aren't costing us anything, and that's where it all comes into play. Now, the careful thing there, again, I'll put on my bean counter hat. If you're going to go and get a free location from a business or a church or something like that, and they normally charge for having a room or something like that, that all impacts the budget, and we actually have to claim all that. So we're looking for true free locations like they did in Rundle Park yesterday in Edmonton.
Yeah. So
okay, we have a pile of questions, so we should move on unless there's anything really important on the finances side.
Yeah, we'll move on because now I wanted to talk.
Finances are always important, Chris.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could go for hours. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to. I put this question up earlier. This is a quick one. I have a friend who's lived in Alberta for a year but hasn't changed his driver's license. Can he sign? You must show proof of residential address.
Yes.
Whether it's on your driver's license or utility bill or a pink slip for your car or registration or a lease agreement that your mother has written you because you live at home with your mother, any of those things can be used.
That's right. Yeah.
But if your driver's license has an address that differs from your current residential address, you're supposed to have changed it anyhow, and it wouldn't work.
They have time to change
And no PO boxes. And that's basically what I was going to show on.
Yeah, you have time to change it still. Yeah.
On the website, it says who can sign 18 and over, Canadian citizen and an ordinary resident in Alberta. Basically meaning that you do live here, but maybe you're abroad studying or working or whatever, and but you are an actual Alberta resident. That's the important thing.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that the other petition campaign didn't have a lot of these rules. It was just willy-nilly sign.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that was kind of what I was wanting to get into at the beginning. What has actually changed since the previous one? Well, Bill 14 came in, and I actually have the bill up here if anybody really cares to see it, blah, 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 blah. But it does list off some of the changes. And one of those was that you basically have to have, and I think it's on page 15, you have to be able to show a valid ID. Versus the previous one, you did not actually have to show anything. And as a matter of fact, it used the old Alberta rules based on the election in 2023, where you could actually vouch for somebody. Yeah, that guy lives in my house. He's good. He's been here forever. That's not gonna apply on this one. And so that's why we need to be a little more strict. And we'll talk about that in terms of the what it takes to become a canvasser, et cetera, et cetera. But on here, it basically says somewhere about before an individual signs an initiative petition, they must have one piece of identification issued by a Canadian government, or two pieces of identification authorized by the chief electoral official. And if you want to know more about what those actually are, you can go under the Elections Alberta website, and then you can go under who can vote and the ID required to vote. And I'll just go and bore you for a second. Driver's license is great. Cities will probably have no problem, because most people will in the cities will have a street address. It's the rural, and whether or not you've got a blue or a green sign at the end of your township road, or you've got the 911 address or something like that. That is kind of where we're running into the problem. Is the ID, the proof of address, I guess, in rural. And again, you can all go on this website and you can find out what you can have as two pieces of ID. If you have an Alberta health card and something else, maybe something that shows from a financial institution, a bank statement that shows where you live, that sort of thing. So you need two of those if you don't have picture ID like a driver's license. So that's
lots of different things you can use. And if you happen to come with your whole family and your whole family lives in your basement and none of them have utility bills, you can write up a lease agreement anywhere at any time, as long as you're doing it accurately.
Yeah.
You're basically, you're attesting to the information that you're writing on there is true. And so that's on you. Oh, and on that note, folks, if there's anyone watching that's thinking of doing things that are untoward, messing with petitions, putting fake information on there, do not do it. Do not do it. The fines are extremely steep. I think they start at $5,000 for tampering. So do not do it.
I think it starts at 50,000.
Don't sign 50?
I think so.
It's a big fine. You don't want the fine. You don't want to pay 5. You don't want to pay 50. If you sign twice, you will get a fine. Elections Alberta will catch you. If you sign and you're not an elector, you will get caught and you will get a fine. Do not do it. Very important.
It's a very good point. Very, very. In person, and again, if you have not signed this month, and I would think that most people would know if they've signed within this past month, then you have not signed. So if you've done anything online, once again, if it's digital or an online intent to sign, you have not signed. It's an actual wet signature with an ink on a sheet of paper that is the Citizens Initiative. And these sheets are actually given to us by Elections Alberta. So they are not just a random sheet of paper. They are authorized by Elections Alberta. They're all standardized. So we have these sheets, and we are the only ones authorized to use these sheets. You cannot just go out and make photocopies like the other petition did. because they could actually do that, because they didn't have to worry about, checking ID and all that. We do. So once they've signed that petition, it's actually almost like, I'm wording it funny, but it's almost like a contract or a privacy between Elections Alberta and the people signing it. So once that is entered in, that sheet is kind of hidden. It's sent up to Elections Alberta, and that they're the only ones that can verify that information is on. So that's important.
And I guarantee you, folks, they are going to be scrutinizing these these forms.
That's right.
So do not FA, because you will very likely FO.
Yeah,
that'd be expensive.
So do we have any questions about the actual signature portion? Because
I'm just going through them right now. I'm going to let you answer this one because you're already on the website. I think there's information there. How do you register for the event at the BMO so we can sign there?
So that's a good question. We did have on another site an RSVP, and as of right now, I'm not sure exactly what the status of that RSVP is, but we will definitely be posting something on the website tomorrow. Once we figure that out, then we will have it on there. It is going to be one of those events, just like in Edmonton, where people are just going to come and line up anyways. And it would be nice to know if we are expecting 50,000 people versus 20,000. But for right now, I don't think there is an actual place that we can do an RSVP for that particular event.
Yeah, and folks, the nice thing with the BMO or the Stampede Park, where we're going at Stampede Park, we're going to be able to put a lot of people inside. So it looks like it's going to be about -4. That's without the wind and stuff. So it is going to get a little chillier. But the nice thing is the facility is going to be able to put a lot of people inside. So that's where this is going to be a lot nicer for people standing in line. And watch tomorrow. I think, Kerry, you said tomorrow things are going to go up there. Yeah. Watch tomorrow. There's announcement on timing because there's going to be availability to sign the petition prior to the town hall event as well. So
the event starts at 7 again until the poster is up and we're all good to go. I think the event starts at 7, but I'm pretty sure we'll have people signing probably at 8 or 10 in the morning, something like that. So it'll be an all-day event. So, and we'll have a lot of canvassers. Again, the nice thing is that having this little bit of time, we got our canvassers into a queue with Elections Alberta. Elections Alberta is doing as best as they can to get the badges out to our canvassers. And so we're ramping up them again, an army canvassers that will be there, and they'll be able to you won't be standing in line for very long. Let's put it that way.
I don't even have my DocuSign email yet. I've been waiting for since Lincoln Hall, if you can believe it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Change of address. License has new address. Elections Alberta has new address. Good to sign, right? Yes. If your license has your current physical address, it's good.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
And that's the other question about that as well. Yes, driver's license, physical address, good to go.
Okay. So can we move to
questions?
Oh, sure.
Questions like this. When is Cameron's going to have somewhere to sign? I will refer you to the website. Please check stayfreealberta.com for information like this. They're updating it as they get stuff booked. I will also share it on the Whistle Stop page, on my personal page. I try and get the information out as best I can. So there's many ways in which you could just watch and follow to get that kind of information.
So we're really going to be around every small town, I think, in Alberta over the next 3 months and change. That's the plan. So on the back end, we've got a schedule already of where we're going, where the canvassers are going to be, where our petition sheets will be, etc. So that stuff is actually not shown on the website because it would be way too overwhelming right now. There is a lot of logistical situations where we have to figure out not only the event, whether it's just going to be a signature event or whether or not we're going to have speakers, whether or not we're going to be able to get canvassers there. How many canvassers do we need? Do we need 8 in an event, or can we just get away with 2, etc., as well as the canvassing sheets? So all that stuff does take time, and I'd like to thank everyone for their patience. But please go to the website in order to find that out, because really, that is the number one question that we get asked at info@statefreealberta is, when are you coming? So here's the second one, which is also related. You were just here. When are you coming back? Or where can I go again? Where else can I go? Again, please go to the website and take a look at that. If we were already in Innisfail, we'll probably be back in Innisfail in the next month, maybe 6 weeks, somewhere in there. Or we'll be close. Maybe we'll be in Bowden. Maybe we'll be in Didsbury, and you might have to drive a little bit. That's
okay. Next question.
Absolutely.
Any idea when there will be a signing event in the Camrose area?
What? That was the same question. No, you know what? I could go into our schedule and find out kind of where we are, but honestly, that is just it's a lot of work, because we don't even know whether or not that date is going to work. Depends on who's there, etc. So please,
you know what helps, folks?
Yeah.
Sign up as a canvasser.
Yeah.
Sign up as a canvasser in the area where you want an event, and then let them know you're willing to do it. And we can set up permanent locations. Like at the Whistle Stop, I got a table there every day, most of the day, and there's a couple people sitting there and they're canvassing. You can do the same thing in your town, and that's how this gets exponentially. It grows exponentially, and we need that exponential growth, because the 177,000 to trigger this is not enough. We need that number to be massive. I want to see 1 million signatures. That's what I want to see. 1 million signatures. That's an emotional hurdle, and when we make it, that is a big deal, folks. So,
Absolutely.
don't try not to ask. Don't ask what Stay Free can do for you. Ask what you can do for Stay Free Alberta.
I'm going to put that on the website. I think that's brilliant. I've heard it before, not quite the same way, but definitely. Can we move on to?
Hey, hang on! You guys got to deal with these Camrose people. They got another question.
More questions.
I'll give them a secret. Watch the web page.
There you go.
Watch the web page. I happen to know that a permanent location is coming to a place near you starting February the 5th. In Camrose, right here.
You can see it. You got to zoom in on that, though.
Yeah, not gonna do it. I gotta help the Camrose folks out.
That's awesome. Camrose is ready to rock and roll, man. Like, there's a lot of people that come down to the cafe from Camrose, and they were just itching, ready to go. Now, guys, most of the questions that we're getting are actually about Alberta independence. They're not necessarily about the campaign. I'm trying to sift out the campaign ones first, but we might end up moving on to the independence side soon, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about. However, this one is about the petition. Question: when canvassers start door to door, how do you tell they're real canvassers and not somebody fake?
Because they actually have a canvasser badge, and if you can ask to see it, and it's embossed, and it's got a little hologram on it. So it's not like you could just go to Sure Printing.
Hold it. Some of the canvassers recently haven't been getting the holograms.
That part I don't know.
That's news.
Yeah. I've seen probably half a dozen with no shiny holograms, straight from Elections Alberta, right out of the mail.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that, because what are the odds of them getting that and the proper petition sheets, etc.? Again, if you don't know what a proper petition sheet is, I could see you just be signing as any.
Well, these folks, I know 100% they're legit, but they showed me their badge and there's no hologram.
Yeah.
I'm gonna maybe get them to talk to Elections Alberta about that.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, so look for their badge, and I'll remind folks again. Greg, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. What's the penalty for tampering with the petition and representing a canvasser when you're not? That's election interference. Is there a penalty?
There would be, and that it's actually probably criminal as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those don't F-A, because you don't want to F-O.
That's right.
I don't know what those letters mean. I just see it on the internet.
F-O. That's true. So now, can we, the other thing I did want to bring up again, just for the people that maybe showed up late, is we've got these events, and the events usually have speakers, but we also have just signature events or signature signing, which may end up just being at a table and a location. We're also working with businesses who actually want to be able to come in and have us be there as canvassers. So one of the things, that's another question that I get quite often and in the emails is, I'm a business, I want to be able to set up and have you guys come in and do canvassing. Well, that's great, amazing. What amount of time can you devote to that? Well, actually, I wasn't going to devote any time. I was just going to leave the petition sitting on my counter, and then someone could just go up and start signing it.
Bad news bears.
No, it has to actually be a canvasser. And again, they have to check for valid ID. So even if it's at a business and you want to open your business up to it, you have to work with Stay Free Alberta in order to get a registered canvasser there and the register signature sheets. And how do you do that? You go to events at stayfreealberta.com. There you go. I just put that into there. So anything related to that, and it's kind of a blanket statement, events, but it's just one email, and then it goes out to different things. So like I said, we're going to be dealing with business. We'll be dealing with pop-up events and canvassers, whether or not it's at a community center or a park or something like that. All that stuff will be on the website where we're going to be, as well as, like I said, the door-to-door will eventually happen. And if you can, request to sign the petition, and then that way we know where you're going or how to get a hold of you.
Just a heads up, folks, I am going to do another webinar on Thursday, I believe, all things Alberta independence again, just like I did last week. And maybe someone will join me. Maybe they won't. I don't know. It would be nice because it was really hard on the vocal cords. But anyway, a lot of the questions about independence, I've dealt with them before. I'll deal with them again. So we might not get to it. If we don't get to your question, join me on Thursday night, 8 p.m. This coming week for the All Things Alberta Independence webinar, and I'll definitely get those questions answered. Excellent. And the question on the screen, I should be getting my badge this week. Who do I contact to get rolling?
So here's the misconception about becoming a canvasser, and I'm going to walk you right through it. So on the site, become a canvasser. I'm going to go become a canvasser, if the page actually works. Whatever. Yeah. There it is. So we go to the page, and you get a little bit of a, what does it take to become, what are my requirements, training, and then I can actually sign up to be the canvasser. So I click on there and I go, I want to be a canvasser. People fill it out, and then they assume they are just waiting for their badge in the mail. No, there's a whole process behind this. So you sign up to be a canvasser, and then on our end, it goes into our database so that we know who is going to be a canvasser. And one of the reasons is you are actually working with Mitch Sylvester. That is the idea.
Deputy Mitch.
You're, as the proponent, you are working with the proponent. Now, obviously, Mitch would be really overwhelmed if he didn't have a team of us able to do anything. But the idea is that email, that contact information goes into our database. It goes out to one of our leaders, who then contacts you, does a bit of a vetting with you just to find out, what's your availability and how long you're being involved or blah, 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 that sort of thing. Then it goes through a DocuSign type of scenario where you actually end up getting a document that registers you through Elections Alberta, etc. Then it goes to Elections Alberta. Once it's at Elections Alberta, they've actually been pretty good. I'm not going to actually say how many they get through in a day, but I'm going to say 300-ish, maybe. At least that's what it seems to be. So then they go through those. Then their badge ends up going through registered or express post mail, whatever it ended up being, and then you get it. So if all you've done is signed this and you're expecting to become a canvasser right away, that is not it. So if for some reason you've signed up and it's a really long time, and I'm going to say like maybe over a week, maybe 10 days, and you have not heard back on that, then chances are send a message to info@SafeFreeAlberta say that you signed up and maybe there was an issue. Likewise, when you do sign up, please, please, please be careful when you're signing out these forms. Make sure that your first name and your last name are in the right field. Make sure your phone number is correct. Make sure your email is correct. Those are issues that we've seen already where someone puts in a wrong phone number and we cannot get a hold of them. And the only way we can get a hold of them is that they get a hold of us first and say, no one's called me. Well, this is the reason why. So that's very important to get through this process. And then once you become a canvasser, you get your badge and then you go through training. And the training is an online kind of a webinar style format, including a video that shows how to fill out the forms, and it talks a little bit more about how to verify IDs, et cetera, et cetera. It's not very long, but everybody has to go through that in order to actually work as a canvasser. And again, you're working as a canvasser for Mitch. So it's not like you're able to just pick up a sheet of paper and just go and collect signatures from a neighbor willy-nilly, like the previous petition basically could have done. Here, you actually have to be vetted and go through that process so that we know that the information that you're putting onto your form is credible, and then that form itself will eventually go back to Elections Alberta, and of course they will verify that at the end of the petition stage. So,
okay.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
I did a little investigation.
Okay.
So, false or forged signatures is a criminal offense, prosecuted and fines with potential imprisonment. They don't specify the exact fine. Corrupt election-related conduct. So if it's seemed to be corrupt, i.e. somebody's trying to circumvent this, it's fines of $50,000 and up to 2 years imprisonment. So again, a criminal offense, but the fines are stated.
Wow.
If somebody's doing this and they're taking your information and not dealing with it properly, it's $50,000 to $500,000 for an individual doing it, and organizations it's $500,000 to $1 million for doing it.
Yeah. Somebody
That's a
just
big fine.
asked the question. There's another. I see cameras. Someone just asked, why didn't you talk about the NDA? The NDA, you're right. The NDA is basically the first stage of the document process. The idea behind the NDA, again, is it's a privacy thing. So if we end up getting a group from our sign up on here in terms of register for the petition, and we give you phone numbers or addresses or something like that, we have to make sure that, again, you're not going to go and take that information and do something else with it. So that's the reason why the NDA. And the DocuSign, like I said, is for Elections Alberta, so that you're entering into a contract with Mitch Sylvester for the Citizens Initiative through Elections Alberta. I think that's kind of the way it's done. Anyway, so.
It's all part of the safeguards to make sure this is all done properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the bar is higher than the forever
correct
status quo or financially subjugated. I can't remember what they're called. Forever something.
You have a problem with that name, don't you?
Yeah, I never remember it. But anyway, the bar is much higher now because what we're doing, folks, this is real. Mitch's question has constitutional teeth. That's the difference. It is a very big deal. So yes, the bar is high. Yes, we have to jump through more hoops, but the stakes are also much higher and the reward is much greater. So the workload is more, and it is what it is. Here's a interesting comment, and it's a comment, not a question, from the real Pat King. Obviously, folks, this is a fake account from somebody who is pretending to be Pat King because Pat has only one real in his name. He doesn't need to be really real. Anyway, the real Pat King says people are saying that there's over 200,000 signatures already. Nobody knows how many signatures there are except for one man, and his name is Mitch. Nobody knows. I don't know. Kerry doesn't know. Greg probably doesn't know. And none of us will know. So if anybody is claiming that there's a certain number of whatever and we can calm down and relax, they are lying to you. And I would argue that they're probably saying this so that people stop getting out to sign. Nobody knows, and Mitch will not tell anybody until we're done.
That's right.
Also,
Absolutely.
head over to the Real Pat King, report the account because he's obviously impersonating someone else and being a troll in the comments. And Pat, if it is you, shoot me a text.
And it's pretty quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, really, we've talked a bit about becoming a canvasser. We've talked a bit about what the actual signature process is. And again, always go to stayfreealberta.com to find out the Stay Free Alberta sanctioned events. So this is where things are going to start to get a little bit of a change. So once we have enough canvassers out there, let's say 2,000, 4,000 canvassers, whatever magic number has to be, we're going to have more canvassers than we do events. And I'm calling it events as with a speaking event or a signature signing. We're going to have people that are going out there and doing these small pop-up events, right?
Exactly.
That is totally fine. We would go bonkers trying to catch that all on the website. So if they are able to create their own signs that just say Alberta Independence signing event or sign up here or whatever it ends up being on a sandwich board without the Stay Free logo, then just watch for it in your community. Because there will be people that do that. And there'll be people that, like myself, I know I've got my badge. I'm going to go and just start banging on doors around the neighborhood. If I can get 50 houses in a weekend or something like that, great. That's all I need to do. And so that's what's going to end up happening probably when the weather is nice. I'm not going to go out there if it's minus 20. But the nice thing is that we do have until roughly the end of April. Someone also in the messaging or in the comments asked, how long does this go until? According to the actual petition, it's from January 2nd to May 2nd. So it went from a Friday to a Saturday, if that means anything. What we're looking at is we need to be able to compile all these petitions and make sure that Mitch actually has to verify them all too, by the way. So he has to go through all the pages, which will easily take a few days for him to do that. And when will we stop taking petitions? I think we'll keep taking petitions right until May 1st. Why would we not? But the bulk of them will probably end up being done, I'm going to say like the 20th of April, 25th of April. So there is an urgency in order to get out and sign these things because anything can happen. And you know, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but anything can happen tomorrow. And if you have not signed, you will be really upset that you didn't sign, right?
Yep. I'm going to share my screen quickly here. I can't remember how to do it. Just where is it here? Is it this thing? Oh, no, that's not the right one. I'm not doing this right. What the heck is this? I don't know.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's not the right thing. Now, hold on. I can't. You know what? I'm not good at this stuff. I won't be able to find it anyway. I'll just put your screen back up, Kerry.
That's okay. I'm usually the one that's driving all the tech in the background anyway. So, and then
onwards to other questions.
The other thing I did want to point out is not only do you find out stuff on our website, you also find out stuff on social media, right? And so we do have the typical Instagram, X, Facebook accounts. We do have some stuff on there, but what I'd like for people to do is also follow other groups out there and repost stuff. We cannot do that on our own. And it's just one of those weird Elections Alberta rules that we can't really do a lot of that extra stuff. But if you're out there, you can do whatever you want because it's your opinion. We cannot do it under the Stay Free badge or banner because Elections Alberta says we can't do that. So that is, if you want to have anything to do, and if you're just sitting at home, oh, I've already signed the petition, or I'm still waiting to sign the petition, go online and share some social media that says, I'm going to sign, or I have the intent to sign, or maybe repost this website, post it so that people will actually get the goods right from the horse's mouth. And that's
there's another benefit to that as well. You're getting the information out, but you're also helping to to shift the narrative, actually to flip it from this conversation being like a taboo subject that only, small fringe minority talks about, to a mainstream topic, which it should be. So that you're two things: getting the information out, changing the narrative, both very, very important.
And we're really easy to find. Our social media is all at Stay Free Alberta. That's it. Stay Free Alberta. Easy to find.
Perfect. Ready for another question, Kerry?
Sure, let's do it.
Greg might want to chime in on this one as well. Jake asks, the opposition will attempt to get your events canceled by targeting signing locations and harassing them online to bully them into canceling your events. How will we combat this? How confident are you in the existing businesses and building location networking that you've done?
We're challenged with this every day. We deal with this on cancellations actually day in and day out. It's likely not to end. We are doing everything in our power to work with our canvassers and our event planners to make sure that the businesses are fully aware of what is to transpire, and so that nobody's caught off guard. But yes, they are bombarding businesses with telephone numbers or telephone calls, emails, visits, trying to shut them down, and doxing them and everything else, and trying to force them to not participate. So we literally have to deal with it day in and day out. And that's why it's very important for you to check stayfreealberta.com, because locations can and do change. So something you saw 3 days ago, they may have backed out all of a sudden, and we have to change location. So please.
Like the town of Didsbury.
Well, I didn't hear Didsbury. Did Didsbury get canceled? That's a new one if it is.
Well, I saw a statement from them online saying that they were not going to allow the Stay Free Alberta, the Alberta Prosperity Project / Western Alliance Group to collect, Stay Free / Western Alliance Group to collect signatures on behalf of APP. And I was like, could you possibly get it more wrong in your media statement? It was insane. Anyway.
Yeah, there's about 3 things wrong in that one sentence.
Yeah, it was a little much to read. But folks, you know what? It's going to happen. We expect that it's going to happen. We've been through this before. It's not the first time we've been canceled. But what we do is we just roll with the punches and we make the event bigger. We tell more people. We have more people show up. And we vote with our wallets. There's places I won't patronize businesses that ask me for my papers. I just won't do it. I don't go to places that look down on an entire group of society because they chose a different medical intervention than they took. I don't. And this is one of those things. Like we find our tribe and we vote with our wallets, and we just continue moving ahead to the goal. We keep our eyes on the prize and just don't stop, right? Not a big deal.
We actually are tracking it, and we have lawyers working on this. And we believe that there's a good chance with a bunch of these, we can actually prove political interference. And
100%.
depending on the degree of it, they will be reported to the police, or they will be reported to Elections Alberta, or whatever the most severe consequence can be, potentially proving election rule interference.
So, Greg, if we look at it this way, or pardon me, I need you to chime in on this. Folks, look at it this way. If a municipality refuses to rent a public space to a public group to do a public thing, and the thing that they're doing is literally asking Albertans to support having a democratic question put to them. That's what this is. The petition isn't asking for a specific outcome. The petition is asking the government, compelling the government, to ask a question to Alberta.
That's right.
That's democracy. There is nothing fringe about this. This is the clearest exercise in democracy that you will see. So if a municipality turns around and says, no, we do not allow democracy in our public institutions or public spaces, what does that say? That is a very... In my opinion, that's a very it's a terrible thing to do. Horrible.
Well, what's also interesting, and we have the documentation, everything from screenshots to recorded TV interviews during Lakasek's campaign. And some of these same municipal areas and governments are going to, or are turning us down when they actually did allow Lakasek and his group to be in their buildings and things like that. So there will be action taken there.
Good, and there should be. There needs to be some accountability. Democracy isn't dead. People just have a habit of ignoring it. Here's a great question relating to the petition. What if you're in the process of selling your home and may not have bought a new home yet? What do you list as your physical address? Your current physical address that's on your ID. That's the address you use.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and the key word there was they're in the process. So the actual sale hasn't occurred. So until that sale would occur, it would be their house that they're trying to sell.
Thank you, Vicky, for being in the comments and answering. Appreciate that. It's nice to see you there. That's your Vicky, Kerry.
It is, yes. Yeah.
Kerry's Vicky.
Yeah. She's working a lot.
What do
I
people
thought
call
she
you?
had didn't we give her a list of other stuff to do? What's she doing here?
You're correct. She has more
Busted.
than enough to do. More than enough stuff to deal with, volunteers and canvassing and all that. A lot. Yeah.
You guys are so busy. I haven't seen you in like some time.
Yeah, I have not been up to the whistle stop since before Christmas for sure. Actually, it was probably more like September or something was last time I was there. So, and
Here's a good one. Not a question, but a statement.
Okay.
Can you mention again that people need to vote now? Do not wait, as some think they can go till May 2nd. Do not wait. Vote early. Don't vote often. Vote early.
It's not that big of a deal to go and wait in line for an hour right now, right? If the weather's nice, or if let's say you go to the Stampede Park event next week, it's indoors. Like, I don't know whether or not we'll have them snaking through kind of thing and queues. So everyone will be inside. So, like, why would you
don't wait till May 2nd?
Do not wait. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Saw a comment from someone or a question if a drive-through would work in some locations. Maybe, but it seems like it might be difficult because, you know, the form has to be filled out perfectly.
Yes.
And the signature has to be witnessed. I guess you could do it if it was set up right. You could do that, hey?
Well, if you want to be a canvasser and give that a shot, by all means, please go and sign up to be a canvasser.
Yep. There you go. Comes back to the ask not what Stay Free can do for you. Stay Free Alberta can do for you. But
well, Mitch has actually said, so like I said, we have about 2,000 canvassers, which in a province this big is not a lot. We're easily ramping up to 4,000. And Mitch has said he wants 10,000 canvassers. Mm-hmm. And that number can be, let's just say the first 2,000 are the ones that do all the big events. The next 2,000 may end up doing their own signing events, the signature event type of thing. And then maybe the last 6 are the ones that end up going door to door, asking their friends and family. That's what we need. And honestly, every signature is sacred on this thing. So even if you got 5, 10, 20 signatures at the most, if you're a canvasser, that ends up, like, just imagine, you got 1,000 people getting 10 signatures. That's 10,000 signatures right there. Like, why would you not? Why would you not sign up for this? It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything to be a canvasser.
Yeah. Other
than time. And again, Mitch does say he would like everyone to be involved in doing something for Alberta. His magic number is 10 days out of a year, which actually I don't think there's any problem with that. Some people will think that there is, but even if you just gave a couple of days to go out and be a canvasser, we could get this thing done right away.
Hey, Chris, Beverly just put in the question there. Are the petitions numbered?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. That's part of the whole control mechanism. Every page is controlled number and tracked from right from the printers until they're in the box with Mitch.
Folks, you may from time to time see a threatening or harassing comment in the comment section, whatever platform you're on. I'm looking at one right now. It's from Jason Kenney's diary. I actually thought about putting it on the screen to show you, but I'm not going to breathe the same air as this loser. The comment is something about F Alberta separatists, and then somebody's business is going down as a threat. And then it appears that there is a photo of said business. If you see this stuff, report it. Report it to Facebook, report it to the RCMP, try and find information on who's doing this, and just report it. Because this isn't a joke, you know. We're saying that we want Albertans to be asked the question, right? That's what we want, a democratic vote. We're not asking for anything evil or bad, but these people think that they can use violence and harassment and ridiculous language and poor spelling to try and stop democracy. And that's complete garbage. So whatever platform you're on, if you see it, report it. Report it, report it, report it. And just don't put up with it. I do see some comments talking about what other people are saying about Alberta independence. Now, look, I've spent the last 5 years pretty much on the independent circuit, I guess, speaking at Alberta Prosperity Project events, speaking at Stay Free events now, all sorts of things. And I've learned a lot. I take the time to write blogs and I research them and I invite people to fact check me and give me their opposition comments. I have my opinion on what Alberta independence looks like after and during and these types of things. I feel like I'm very well read on it and I kind of have a good grasp. Other people may not agree with me. So, you know, when people ask about what somebody else thinks about Alberta independence, I'm happy to hear the point, but I share my opinions with you. And the truth is, whether it comes to what we're going to do about currency or military or treaty rights or any of these things after we have a successful referendum, it's up to you people. It's up to you people what you want. That's the whole point, is that for the first time in history, Albertans are going to be asked, how do you want to be governed? And what do you want your nation to look like? That's the point. So it's important to have the conversations. It's less important to worry about who's saying what, as long as we actually take the time to dig into it and make up our own mind.
I did want to make one comment that a lot of people don't realize, and you can actually go under the Elections Alberta website, go under Recall, Citizens Initiative, blah, 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 and actually, this is not where it is. It's actually in the bill. It's in the bill now that I think of it. And it actually says, and it is important, that's why I'm having this big, long pause here. We basically get one shot at this. Because if it doesn't happen this time, legislation on the bill actually says it cannot happen within another 5 years. That is it. So if we do not do this time and we do not succeed in getting the amount of signatures and then getting through to the referendum stage, we will not be able to do this for at least 5 more years. So there is a bit of urgency even with that. So
here's a good question for the campaign. How are these sheets protected so they don't get lost or stolen?
They all have air tags on them.
Wow, that's expensive.
They are tracked. So if we give, I'm just hypothetically, we give 10 pages to someone and they decide not to turn them back in, we know where those 10 pages are. Likewise, if they get stolen, they get lost, they get the dog pees on them, we will be able to track them. Sad thing is what happens if you do lose one page? One page is 5 signatures. That keeps me up at night. Because the amount of time and effort just to get those 5 signatures, people may think, oh, it's inconsequential, but it is. It really is. Every signature there, like I said, is sacred. So if we end up losing 5, 10, 50, 100 signatures, that would make me nauseous. So the idea with getting our canvassers vetted and going through this entire process is that we know that they are not going to do anything nefarious with them, because likewise, as we've mentioned a few times, if they do, they could easily get fined or even imprisoned.
And if you lose a page,
yeah,
that sucks. If you lose 5, now someone might be looking at you for tampering. Yeah. And you don't want that. Don't let it happen. This is a very, very important thing. And there's a high amount of responsibility that comes with it. So you act responsibly. Oh, there we go. Canvassers have to take responsibility. Yeah, exactly.
The process is there. People hopefully will follow the process.
Here we go. Great question. Have you seen any? Have you sent out any press releases? Oh, this isn't what I thought it was. Have you sent out any press releases to mainstream media and independent media in order to help spread the message of the petition? The only thing they're doing is calling us racists. Like, the only thing I've seen in the news about the events that they've covered is like, oh, they talked about immigration. They must be racist. Yeah. That's it. It's just hit pieces. It's ridiculous.
So here's another thing, again, that we talked about briefly, and how this whole process started. And it was, eventually we could start taking signatures on the 2nd, even though we didn't have canvassers roughly until really starting the 5th or 6th. This entire collection has really only taken place in 2 weeks. That's it, 2 weeks, right? And I think people kind of, it just, for me anyways, it feels like we've been doing this for 2 months, because we really have been doing this for 2 months in the background. But what's been out on mainstream media has only been out there for 2 weeks. If CTV, etc., have already picked up on this only 2 weeks in, just imagine what they're going to be out there in 2 months from now. They are going to report on these stories, no matter what. We have a communications team. They are going to be sending out email blasts. They're going to be sending out media press releases, all that stuff. But we, again, are only 2 weeks in. So that is the important part. I would be watching not only the website, but social media. There will be press releases probably within this week for sure. And then I think every Monday, that's what the schedule is. There is going to be a lot of news that we are going to be able to define with what is happening with Stay Free.
We have a segue.
And all I was going to say, in the 2 big cities, if we get 15,000 people out to each of the big city locations and town halls, the media is going to pick up on that type of number. They will. So
Jake asks, what influencers and pages do you recommend to follow for updates on social media? Number 1, stayfreealberta.com and @stayfreealberta. That is the gold standard for accurate information regarding the petition.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
If you want to know things about Alberta independence, or some of the more intricate details, I highly recommend www.whistlestoptruckstop.ca/blog. Every little while, I compile all of my ideas into a blog article and I post it for you to read. You can challenge me on it. You can print it off and share it. You can do whatever you do. Just don't change it, and use that. There's other social media groups or influencers, but I don't know any of their names. Just kidding. There's Rise of Alberta. There's Alberta Free Radio. I shouldn't have listed them off, because now if I forget any, they're going to be upset with me, right? Yeah. But my point is, there's lots, right? There's lots. Stayfreealberta.com is the safest.
That's right. Yeah.
And we'll stop trucks up. That's it. And I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that has anything to do with whistlestoptruckstop.ca. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, you'll have to scan it to find out, I guess, right? Sorry, Greg. What else we got here? Did you see any other questions, guys? Oh, yeah, TikTok. TikTok is going crazy with Alberta independent stuff. It's absolutely fantastic.
We do have a TikTok and a YouTube page. The YouTube was going to be more like for doing training and stuff, but we do have a group that's going to be working and creating videos for us, and hopefully in the next week or so there will be a lot of content. Again, I liken it to a marathon, 120 days. It's not a sprint. Much like a lot of normal elections, if you want to call it that. This is a petition. This is not the same as an election where it might be, 30 days or 6 weeks or anything like this. This is extending out quite a long time. We are all going to have a bit of fatigue at the end of this. I'm hoping we can persevere it. People that have signed already will just be saying, come March and April, let's just get on with it. Can we not just do this? But we know, no, we're going to be taking signatures right to the very end. So that's another important thing that I think people need to realize.
Well, I just got a first in the comments, Kerry.
What's that?
So this somebody asked some good questions about passport, healthcare, pensions, EI, and such, which I've dealt with a multitude of times. Go back and watch last Thursday's All Things Independence webinar. You'll have all the answers. Then I scroll down. I'm looking for other questions, and I get this question, this statement from them. Chris, it says, "Show us your tits, Chris." Wow. How do they know I have those? Like, are they watching me undress? What's going on here?
It must have related to TikTok.
It must have. Oh, ticks. No, it says tits. Yeah. Anyway.
We're going to edit that out. No.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. What else is there? Did you see anything, Kerry? I don't see any more question marks.
I think we've covered everything that I certainly wanted to. Again, if you have questions, send an email to info@. We now have 1,905. What? 1,905 unread emails right now. Is that
1905?
Does anybody realize the significance of that particular number? 1905.
I have no idea. That's pretty significant, folks.
It was the year Alberta became part of the Confederation. But that is very interesting. So that's the number of unread ones that will be looked at. Send comments to info@. We do weed through this. We usually try and get the number down to 1,000. That's a lot. They have actually signed up for or sent us emails probably in the last couple hours for sure.
Kerry, I'm going to let you and Greg talk a little bit more about the petition. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. I know Benita just asked if all three of us will be at the event next Monday. Unfortunately, I will not be. I had a prior commitment, so I will not be there. I know Chris will be because anywhere where he can put his face for radio, he will definitely be visible. Greg, are you going to be there?
It's going to be a long day of work. I will be a tired boy by the end of the day.
That's good. That's good. Good man. Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to cover, Greg? Just donations. The thing that's up on the screen definitely helps us.
Yeah. Again, back to donations. It helps us. We're striving to put out as many events as we can. Events being town halls where we can get out, speak to people, answer more questions like we're doing here tonight, as well as having a signing location at the same time. And those don't come cheap, even in small towns with only a couple hundred seats. It ends up being expensive. So that's where, like I said, probably 80% of all the funds raised are going to be going into making sure we can put on those events. And please go through the website. It's just, you have no idea how much work that saves.
It's easy. Just go donate. Boom. Goes to a page. Help us out if you want. Otherwise, you can do it online. Put in whatever donation, even if it's $1. Although I think it's $5 is probably the minimum. That's typical because they take their transaction fee, blah, blah, blah. Pay by credit card, blah, blah, blah. Process the payment, boom, there it is. That's all you need to know. And it certainly helps us, honestly, because even like the website and all the stuff that we're doing in terms of tracking, the petition pages, man, you'd think that they would just be photocopies. Well, they're not photocopies. They're numbered and tracked and all that sort of stuff. And so there is an expense. This is not something that's, it's amazing that Mitch did what he did in order to get this thing started. Because if you haven't been out to an event yet, I would definitely recommend. It's almost a religious experience, and you get to see people who have the same view and kind of the comfy feels of what this whole independence referendum and petition is going to do for this country.
You're hanging out with your tribe, your people.
That's right.
It's a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Very rarely have I ever even seen anyone, like snarky about standing in a line. People are actually happy to have the opportunity to be standing in the line. It's awesome.
So anything else we want to cover?
I'm just about to the end of the questions. There was a lot of questions about, the specific Alberta independence things, but we're already an hour and a half into it. I think maybe that would be best left for another.
This is all we wanted to cover. We just wanted to cover the petition itself. We have 3 pillars kind of on Stay Free, and number 1 is signatures, obviously, right? That's the whole goal. Getting canvassers out there so we can get signatures, and getting donations so that we can support our canvassers so that they can get signatures. So that's kind of the way it is.
Here's a good question, guys. If the canvassers have forgotten to ask something, will those people who have signed be able to correct the missing information?
That's a very good question, but I don't know exactly what they would have forgotten to ask.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The boxes are all there. They're filling in all the boxes. Yeah. The canvassers, a lot of the canvassers are actually the ones completing the boxes based on the information that you give them. And it's going to be very rare that a piece of information is missed. Unfortunately, unless it gets caught at a later time and the contact information is correct, we do have the ability to contact you until the petition is over. So there's a possibility there.
If you do fill out the form while you're doing it and you botch it up or whatever, we're allowed to cross that section off and then refill it, or basically just cross out your entire box and start another box.
Correct.
So that helps too.
Hey, Chris, I was just going to make a comment. You were trying to wrap there, or almost wrap. I hope people realize that this is only the beginning. This is just the beginning of the hard work. The hard work is really going to come after May the 4th. So we believe we are going to get the signatures, but after May 4th, we're actually into a campaign. And that becomes a whole different thing than collecting signatures. It literally becomes a door-knocking campaign. And the best way to describe it is a full-on get out the vote campaign. And that's going to be a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of volunteers, a lot of people. So we're far from the end of it. We honestly believe we'll be getting enough signatures to move ahead. But come May 4th, it's full-on election mode for us.
I thought I was to the bottom of the questions, but every time I scroll down, the little bar thing on the side goes back up. So I'm not to the bottom of the questions.
A lot of
but
questions.
It's mostly statements.
Yeah. Albertan asks, what if you purchase Stay Free promo items that I don't want compensation for? Do I have to report it to you? First of all, you don't actually have Stay Free Alberta sanctioned T-shirts and swag and all that, because we actually don't be selling any of that, right? Again, to keep our cap under the 500K limit, we're really just doing the lawn signs. And there will be lawn signs, I believe, available next week in Calgary at the event there, right? I believe that's
the intent.
If you're making, I don't even know, and Greg, I'm just going to say something, and if you don't like it, please let people know. Don't hold it in. Don't hold it in, Greg. If somebody just wanted to put like a decal on their car, as long as it doesn't say, the Stay Free badging, they could probably just write Alberta Independence, sign up here or whatever it is. 100%. I don't think there's any issue with that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
I noticed something interesting.
Yes.
We're so important and threatening that people are actually making fake Facebook pages and trying to distract and disinform and misinform.
Yeah.
Like that Jason Kenney's underwear drawer or whatever it is trying to say that there's 2 million signatures. Well, there isn't, and nobody knows. But this is how we know we're going to win, because the opposition, the only way they can even hope to win is by cheating. They don't have the facts on their side. They don't have the evidence on their side. They don't have history on their side. We do. The only thing they have are emotionally charged arguments that are just emotional and cheating. Isn't that something?
I think they're all AI bots anyways. At this point in time, you just never know if the person you're chatting with is actually a real person.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Unacceptable Fringe. Now he's in the comments section saying, hey, go to Unacceptable Fringe for the updates. No, go to the Whistle Stop Cafe for the updates. Just kidding. He's got a great show, and he's actually more plugged into this stuff than I am. He has, his show talks about the daily updates and stuff, so that is a good place to go. But go to my place and buy my stuff. Yeah, and folks, the rest of the stuff. Oh boy, I guess this is a good one. What about legally blind people signing? Can someone with power of attorney sign on their behalf?
I think it's whatever they would do in a normal election. Like if you had to get driven and standing in front of a sheet to sign an X, it's the exact same scenario as here, right? You'll probably end up coming with somebody that will be on your behalf. There are rules, and again, I know at least one time during each event, there is a question that even the canvassers go, I'm not quite sure what to do, because it is one of these things out of left field. I have not done a canvassing event myself, so I have not gone through that experience yet. And I know within that first one, I'm going to get tripped up a couple of times. The canvassers do have a lot of material that they can go through, kind of a cheat sheet of, what is acceptable and what is not. Likewise, you can actually go on the Elections Alberta website. It's really thorough. It will tell you what to do in this sort of a situation. So if, again, I'm not legally blind yet, but I could definitely go on there and probably find the documentation that would say what to do in that case.
Good point.
Yeah.
So 2 more comments.
Sure.
First one is a question for Greg. Can I have a stay-free burger at the Whistle Stop Cafe?
Right. I don't know. Is Chris donating 50 cents of every burger or what? It goes against the donation limit.
No, he's not. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like that. It sounds like fun. I've had lots of different burgers. I've had the Angry Alberta burger, the Eggs Kenny. I've had
I don't see
I
too
need
much
to do a fried Bayonne sandwich.
Yeah, we won't necessarily sanction it, but it almost sounds like a good burger.
I don't know what would be in a stay-free Alberta.
Beef, Alberta beef, 3 patties.
It's just beef.
3 patties, mayo, crispy onions. That's it.
It's a steak, actually. Yeah.
Unless you guys have anything else, I have one more comment to put up on the screen, and then we'll wrap up.
I think thank you for everybody that watched and persevered through this hour and 35 minutes. Lots of information, and again, if you need any more info at stayfreealberta.com, and otherwise you could just phone Greg directly. He's got nothing else to do.
Greg?
No.
We're
good. Appreciate everybody being here and listening. If you got a question, like Kerry said, info at stayfreealberta.com. Sorry, almost blew it.
Chris will have the last word because he always does, no matter what we do. So go ahead.
I'm actually gonna just read something for the last word. So you folks are in luck. You ready for this?
Sure.
Facts don't care about feelings. Numbers don't lie. It's time to give the elbozos a little democracy. I agree 100% with Derek. Thanks for that.
Excellent.
All right. Night, gents. Thanks for your time. We'll have a quick wrap up after we're not live anymore. So Kerry can use his inside voice.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching, folks. Thanks for
good night, everyone. Thank you.
In Alberta. Where's the button? Do you know where the button is, Kerry?
There's my
I found
shirt.
it.
There's my shirt.
Beauty.
There you go. There you go.
You know what's even nicer than your shirt?
What's that?
Stumpy.
Meow.